Alright, today I'm going to see if I can hack another new camera that I haven't done before. This is a Canon Powershot SD750 7.1 megapixel camera. Alright, so I've never even opened this camera, so I'm going to start by removing the screws around the perimeter of the camera. Two on the side here where the wrist strap would go. Get all these screws out. I'm going to keep all these screws in order that I take them out in case there's different sizes. That way I know where they go back. Alright, and it looks like we've got two on the bottom by the tripod mounting hole. And I've already removed the battery from this camera. You want to make sure you've done that before you start taking it apart. And we've got two on this left hand side. Alright, now that I've got the screws out, I'm going to see if we can start separating the halves. Let me see if I can find an entry point here that we can start getting it apart. So, alright. Make sure we're not going to tear up any ribbons. And I think we're good there. Okay, so I've got my back cover off. Alright. So now we've got to see if we can get our front cover off so we can gain access to our power and shutter buttons up top. So pull out on the bottom, and there we go. Alright, it's pretty straightforward. So we've got our front and back covers off. Take off this little piece on the side where the wrist strap holder was, and trying to look and see how we can get in to the top up here. Alright, let's see. Alright, well, I see one screw down in the top here, so let me take that out. That may allow us to get our power bar off up top. Okay, so I've got that screw out. So make sure we keep up with it so we know where it goes back. And there we go. So that allows us to get into our power button and our shutter button. Okay. Alright. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take off the LCD screen, because I'm probably going to route my wires coming out of the camera out the bottom here. And I'm trying to see if I can tell where we can gain access for our externals on the camera. And at this point I'm really not seeing anything. Possibly behind the LCD screen there's an area, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this LCD screen off to see if that's where I can route my wires out. So I'm going to take off the take out the screw that's right here on this top right corner that I see. Alright, and let's see. Lift up on that LCD screen. Trying to look and see. Okay, there's a small ribbon up top here that is attached to, that's probably for the backlight and stuff, so we don't want to tear that up. So I'm going to see if I can get that disconnected. Alright, so at this point I haven't seen anything that would allow me access to be able to put externals for the battery in this camera, but I have figured out the hack on the power button and the shutter button. And for the power button, which is here, you need a wire to the bottom left for your power common and to the top right for power. And then for shutter, you would need the bottom center for your shutter common and the bottom right for your shutter. Okay. In order to get the LCD screen off, like I said, we removed the one screw that was up top here, but you need to turn it around to the front, and the bottom ribbon right here, disengage this latch, and then you can pull that ribbon out. Okay, and then on the back side, you have to be really careful here handling this. You can pull that LCD screen out just a little bit, and now you can disengage this small ribbon that's up top. You got to be really careful here because you don't want to tear that up, and it's a little bit tricky to get back in also. So just gently ease that ribbon out, and now you can take your LCD screen off. Alright, so I never did find a way to add external power to this camera. It may be possible, but you would have to just totally dismantle the entire camera, and I don't think the risk is worth the reward in order to do that. So anyway, I do have the camera hacked for my power button and my shutter button. The power button, as I said earlier, the bottom left is where you need to solder a wire on for your power common, and the top right is for power. And on your shutter button, you need the bottom center for your shutter common, and then on the bottom right would be for your shutter wire. When you solder that shutter wire on, you need to make sure that your wire or your solder does not bridge this metal piece that's over the shutter button, otherwise you're grounded out, and then shutter button's not going to work with manually or with the hack wires. Alright, and you route the wires out of the camera, just bringing them straight back off of this shutter button, because on the little trim piece that goes up top, there's plenty of space for those wires to clear. And doing the same thing on the power button and bringing the wires straight back, but on the little housing that goes over that, right behind where the on and off power button is at, you'll need to trim out a little bit of that plastic housing, and I'm not sure, see if I can get that where maybe, yeah, you can tell right there how I did that. Just cleared out an area there so when you put this piece back on, it doesn't crimp into your wires. And at this point you could go ahead and put this piece back on there, just get it back in position, and you got to try to get it snapped down in place, and then go ahead and install that screw that came out from up top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so got that back on. And now we can install our LCD screen. But right here where I'm bringing my wires out, you need to bring those down just to the left side of this mounting screw that's to the left of the tripod mounting hole. And that way it won't interfere with your LCD screen ribbon that needs to attach to that main board on the front. Okay, and also on your back cover, you're going to need to notch out an area similar to the way I did this one, to the left of this mounting screw hole, so that it will allow your wires to come out without being cut. Okay, So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get my LCD screen back on, get the camera completely back together, and then we'll come back and we'll check our hack. Alright, so now that I've got my camera back together, we're going to test our hack. And I'm going to take my power common and power wires, touch those together, the camera power's on. Take our shutter common and our shutter wires, and the camera takes a photo. Once again, taking a photo. Alright, and power it off. Power and power common. Alright, so that's the hack on the Canon Powershot SD750 7.1 megapixel camera. Alright guys, hope this helps, and thanks for watching.